Hi, welcome back to The Perspective. I'm with Kennedy Ashinze, Editor-in-Chief and founder of Globetrotter Magazine, and its creative director.
Yes.
TransAtlantic, we spoke about this before. That originates obviously between Europe and the United States. The concept is most commonly associated with that.
Right.
You're trying to stretch it to a totally separate definition.
Absolutely. TransAtlantic is the world. Like, we want to go to, we're in Asia. We want to talk about Asia. We want to talk about Africa, the US, everywhere. So that's basically that's where that comes from. And like I was mentioning earlier, on the intelligence side is basically the intelligence gathering that is involved with
information sharing.
Information sharing, sharing these stories responsibly, actually. So connecting on the ground, which we have to do. We don't live in all these places, but if we're not there, we have people who are on the ground that we collaborate with to get great in-depth stories, and we try to make sure they're represented well and respect all the cultures we kind of walk through. So it's that's the intelligence side of it. So there's a lot of gathering, there's a lot of editing, there's a lot of curation, there's a lot of image sharing that happens. So we always try to make sure it all comes together tastefully.
I do want to talk a bit more about the audience, but before we wrap up.
Sure.
Relatively young. Is this for young professionals? I mean, what do you see as your target audience? Who is your marginal audience?
Right.
Who are the people who are trying to grab on the fringe?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the people we're trying to grab on the fringe, well, we'll start from our core. Our core is that young progressive, like you did mention, so that 24, a little bit maybe in college, a little bit outside of college, but that is open to how the world works, that is open to the fact that the world is kind of an open playground. You know, and that's most kids in that space realize that, you know, with the power of the internet and all, we're all connected. So that's our core. And of course, we try to connect with the younger, a couple of years younger, and on the fringe will be slightly older, but the stories honestly cut all barriers, basically. So we feel like our direct target age range is between 24 to 50. So it's a pretty broad group, but male, female, that are transcultural urbanites, that are open to how the world works. They are concerned with things going on in the world, that appreciate fine design, that love great food, love great music, you know, those kind of things. That's our core, and we feel like there is, you know, there's range to play with there.
Do you, so the magazine's very people-focused. I mean, it's about transcultural urbanites.
Absolutely.
Do you see it in the future staying as interview-focused as it is now, or moving to include some more traditional, or what you call middle book and back of book pieces, shorter articles, lists, or do you want to stay?
We give that some thought, and we do have some of those in the publication, actually. We do have some lists. We have a section in the back there, in the back page, called Transatlantic, Boogie Express. We have a list called 10 by 10 that we actually talk to 10 tastemakers around the world that share a list of things that they're into, music that they're into. So we do have some of those, and we try to incorporate it without really diluting like the core of what the magazine is about.
So you don't want that to push out the interviews?
No, the interviews, we cannot deny the human side of the interview. Like that's our strength, you know, having that human connection. So we don't want to lose that. We want to marry both as much as we can. With obviously visiting some of these cities, there is an advantage we have. So we've seen some things, so hence making some great lists would make sense. So we gradually still playing with how we want to integrate that into the publication, but the human side will never be phased out. Like that's kind of the face of the publication. It's having the real dialogues with people. Yep.
And finally, where do you want to see this brand go?
Basically, we wanted to live outside of print as well. In addition to the beautiful print publication you have in your hands, we wanted to live on the digital side as well. We're obviously working on our Globetrotter TV side as well, and also all our experiential events that we do. So we're trying to tie it all in. It's basically a media company, and we're trying to have these mediums kind of coexist and bounce off each other.
Great.
Yep.
Kennedy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Cheers.
Join us next time on The Perspective. That was Kennedy Ashinze, founding Editor-in-Chief and Creative Director of Globetrotter. I'm Blaise. See you next time. Thank you.